Welcome back to MMA Al Dente, the only show that predicted that Victor Henry would defeat Rafael Assunção. Don't you forget it. All right, I'm here to talk to you guys about Zubaira, Tukhugov versus Lucas Almeida. Really compelling fight here. I think this fight has potential to be the fight of the night. Tukhugov's a guy who, you look at his record and it's hot and cold, but he doesn't fight nearly as often as he should. He's had suspensions and horse shit, punched Connor in the back of the head or whatever. But he's a very good fighter. Very good fighter here. I think he's deceptively good on his feet and a good wrestler too, which is really going to be where he finds his victory here, or, where he should find his victory. He could find it with his hands because I think Zubaira's got better striking. I think he's got, look, Lucas Almeida is the more proven finisher and the better striker and whatever, but I think Zubaira Tukhugov has better hands. Certainly in round one, I trust his hands more than Lucas Almeida. And yes, I've seen Lucas Almeida fight Daniel Zellhuber in round one, but this is different fighters. Tukhugov is a really strong athlete. I think he's got the stronger punch between them if they were to punch, and he's faster. Despite giving up 3 inches in height, I think he's able to control the striking early on. The thing is, he may not want to strike with Lucas Almeida because Lucas Almeida has proven that he can fight hard and his finishing power doesn't go away. He's got finishes in every round but the 4th round, and he doesn't stop fighting. We saw in that Trezano fight, he was hurt, and he was dropped in round 1 with a left hook, came back, didn't stop fighting, clipped Trezano at the end of round 2, and then put him away in round 3, I think, with a left hook. So, really awesome debut for Lucas Almeida. He is a BJJ black belt, and he's got some great submissions on his, or some submissions on his resume. But wrestling is where I see him lacking, and I see that being the difference maker here. Tukhugov is an underrated wrestler. I think he's always going to have that wrestling available against Lucas Almeida, especially with the way Lucas fights. He's always stalking, and he's one of those longer, taller, skinnier guys. I think the takedown will come more easily than it does against whoever, fucking Hakeem Dawodu. But even on the feet, Lucas is dangerous, but Tukhugov probably hits harder, and his hands, I think, are better. They're sharper. The thing is, with the reach and the height and the resume, Lucas Almeida, it's proven. He gets finishes. Like I said, he gets finishes all 3 rounds. And we saw it in his UFC debut against Trezano. That was what better way to see what kind of fighter this guy is. He's very dangerous. So Tukhugov, I'm sure he's going to feel out on the feet. But after that, he's going to be looking to wrestle. That's my prediction. And I think he carries that to a victory. I do think he will have that wrestling in all 3 rounds. We've seen him fade a little bit in rounds 3 against, who the hell? He faded against Dawodu, a fight in which I thought he won, clearly. I thought it was a robbery, but the guy that deserved to win, really, was Dawodu, because he wasn't on his bicycle in round 3. He was actually stalking him and talking to him and whatever, taunting him. But still, despite that robbery, what I consider a robbery, Tukhugov, he did look bad, I guess, in round 3, or not so bad in round 3, but he did fade against Lerone Murphy, but that was after having a really strong round 1, which is a lesson I guess he needed to learn. But since then, he's looked really good, especially in the Ricardo Ramos fight, his last fight. There were no signs of fatigue. I think that guy beats Lucas Almeida, and Lucas is a guy who I've seen plenty of his fights, but I haven't seen him fight anybody at the UFC level aside from Trezano. I want to see him fight UFC fighters so I can get a better gauge of him. And I think, I just don't think he's going to pass the Tukhugov test. I think Tukhugov is underrated because of those losses, and the draw against Lerone Murphy and whatever, even though that was a legitimate draw. I scored it 28-28. But he's a more trustworthy fighter here. So I'm picking him. If I had a gun to my head, I'd go decision. But I did bet on the under as well. Plus 145, just because that Lucas Almeida's line is plus 125, and I feel like plus 145 covers a bet on Lucas, in addition to Tukhugov getting a finish, which might be more possible than people think, especially with Tukhugov's power. But my primary bet is Tukhugov minus 155, the money line, and There was something else going on. No, but that's mainly it. Tukhugov minus 155. That's what I put it in parlays. I think it's a good line, pretty reasonable, and we'll see what happens. Like, share, subscribe, all that horse shit, and check out my other videos.